Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel of Evolution. My name is Shuby, and today I want to talk about some stuff to get us back into that high energy, high consciousness, fire us up, and to reach our full potentials, to start at the very beginning, the very basics, the most important things in the world to do to reach these higher states and to feel better, to reach our potential, is to follow the ancient wisdom within the Holy Trinity, right? And all the other times we see three foundation principles, in this triangle: Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's right. The mind, the body, and the soul, the heart, the spirit. We need these three things to work together. And when we bring these three things together, we maximize our energy levels. And we just get as excited as a child who has been untarnished by this world and is just running all the time. We can do that all over again. We don't even have to age. Here's how it's done. We take care of our nutrition. What goes into our body, we're aware of it. We understand the depth of it. Once we take care of and clean up our eating, we work on the lymphatic system and we start to move. We start to exercise and we start to get rid of the shit that's in there. And third, we fall in touch with our soul. We know ourselves on the deepest, most intimate level. And they all work together to maximize this full potential. Number one is to clean up our diet, to understand what's in our food, what we're eating, and what it's doing. There are great effects with hormesis to take in shit and actually be able to overcome that. But if we're overloaded because that's all we take in is shit, well then, the body is never able to get the right building blocks. And this is why we see our deficiencies, right? Because we're not taking in the things we need. And even worse than that is because a lot of the shit that we take in displaces the shit that we need. Like, for instance, you take in aluminum, which is in our baked goods and our tortilla shells and chips and anything with like baking powder in it. And then it's on glyphosate and Roundup and sprayed on crops. And it's in our deodorant. Well, what happens when aluminum comes in? Well, aluminum can actually displace zinc and iron, the two metals that our body actually needs. So, if you take in all of them, well, what's your body going to take? Well, I guess it's a throw of the dice, maybe. So, you get aluminum, you got plenty of aluminum, which is useless. In fact, it's neurotoxic and leads to nothing but problems. And you don't get any iron or zinc, which actually is beneficial and extremely necessary and good for the body. So, how do we go about this, right? We need to start eating less aluminum and taking in this shit, And we need to start eating better, cleaner mana, right? Because if you got a scale here, you got on one side pure, clean, nutrient-dense powerhouses of that excellent mana. And on the other side, you have Play-Doh and all that other garbage that they put labels on that we're not actually supposed to eat at all, but they say it's alright and it'll feed starving people. So eat this garbage that it's going to kill you, painfully probably. So, and somewhere in between those two things, all of our food lies. Everything we eat is. So, where are your choices? Where do those fall on this line? Are you over here? Are you over here? And then you add them all up and you gotta at least have this idea, this place to start, right? It's like, okay, I eat this crap, well then I gotta, I can get better, a little better. Know where my shit is coming from, know what's going into my body. And it's crazy because when you start to do this, you'll start to notice things. You'll start to feel better. You'll start to wake up with a little more pep in your step, and next thing you know, you just want to go out and run. And that's the second part. Second part is getting active to work the glymphatic system and the lymphatic system, right? Because these two systems flush all the shit out of our body. The lymphatic system goes and pushes all the toxins out. The glymphatic system pushes the toxins out of our brain, and it starts to cleanse itself and it's like running a maintenance crew through the entire department and fixing everything to actually run efficiently and optimally like we are all born to do. You know, notice too that if you start eating better and then you start becoming more active than you were in the past, you know, and you put your body through these major changes that you haven't done before, you may notice some crazy issues. And I don't want you to be detoured by them. You know, check them out, look into them, you know, do what you have to do. But when you start to mobilize these toxins and to flush these things out, you may notice like skin rashes or like eczema. And for me, like if I eat really shitty to recover from some crazy race, or because I fall off the wagon and just want to indulge in the good things in life every once in a while, I'll notice that a couple days later I will start to get like pimples, you know, and this is just my body pushing the crap that I ate out as soon as it can, and to get rid of it, you know. So it's like I'm aware of it. I know it's going to happen. I know that it can happen, and I'm not going to freak out if it does happen because I know my body, right? Because I've put myself through there. And this is why you do these first two things, you know, because you start to realize your body. You start to realize the foods that actually make you feel good and make you feel alive and fired up and ready to go. Those are the foods you should be eating. And you start to take note of that, and then you start to eat them more and more, right? And you'll also notice when you start to move, you'll start to learn your body and how it moves and how it can move and what you're better at and what you're good at, and you know, and all these things start to come together, and you start to bring those two together, and it gets even more incredible because you start to get better cognition and focus, and you're able to retain more information, and your memory gets better, and you start to you know, function more optimally because all these things are working together, right? You're starting to heal the body. You're getting these metals out of the brain that are basically causing a short, which is a power drain. You know what I mean? Like if you stick a fork in an outlet and it doesn't spark on you, it'll probably heat up, right? And, well, if you put it in like a 12-volt system on a battery, like we're like batteries, and you put metal into that connection, well, it might heat up, but it's going to drain the battery, right? It's going to pull energy from the battery, and you're going to get depleted. You're no longer going to have that output that you should have. You're going to be less. And the more you do this, the less and less and less and less. It's like if you wire everything in series, you know, you put 20 light bulbs onto one 12-volt battery, they're all going to be dim. But if you put 10 bulbs into that, and well, then, you know, they're a little brighter. You have 2 bulbs, a little brighter, right? But the more resistance you have, the less potential. So you're going to fix this, right? And get rid of all these shorts in your system. Get them out of the body. And then you start to feel better. And you start to work better. And your cells are signaling because they're electronic, right? They start to actually work like they are supposed to. You know, you're no longer putting all this garbage in and feeling like garbage. But the third part of this trinity that I'm talking about that is extremely important to bring all of these together, and without it, the other two may not even work, and that is the soul, the heart. You have to know who you are, what you love, and you actually have to go after it. You know, this is to know yourself 100%. This is your confidence and your love and your vitality. Why you do what you do, and you don't give a shit when other people don't care about why you seem weird or like a black sheep or this and that. You're just going after what your heart tells you to go after. And this is paramount because it's what you're connected to. You know, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Dr. Jekyll was this guy who had everything. He was a doctor, right? So he had this prestigious job. He had a big house. He had a lot of money. He was surrounded by friends and family, and he was loved. But for some reason, he hated himself. For some reason, he dedicated his life to finding a cure for why he hated himself. So he put together a concoction to destroy his consciousness because it was eating him alive. And it was eating him alive because he had spent his entire life going after the things that the world told him he should go after, right? A good job, money, power, fame. It's like the whole Hollywood thing. This is what you need to be. And then he got there. And, well, he felt like shit because he spent his whole life ignoring his heart, what was really inside of him. So now it ate him away and destroyed him and turned him into a monster because he became resentful and lower energy chakras because he ignored his calling and he had felt it was too late to turn around. You know, this is why we must always follow the heart. Stay true to what it is that feeds your soul, no matter what happens in this world. And when you link these 3 things, that's 6, 3 things together, you become that full energy, loaded up, reaching your potential. Your consciousness level starts to go up. You're just becoming the best person you can be, and you're happy, and you know how to handle stress, and you know how to get rid of the bullshit. You just are your own true essence, light being, fired up. So I encourage you all, go out, start to eat better, start to exercise, and start to fall in love with what is really in that heart. I love you guys. Peace!